Bernie came out here and said, "Is he gone already?" So he's just out there cruising. Maybe they had I don't know, maybe they had a little tiff, or maybe not. Maybe just Chip felt like getting out there and concentrating for a while.
Well, he is cruising slowly up and down the race course. Made a couple of laps. Here he is. Nobody else out there, just thinking his way. He was out long before anybody else.
It's not like he's doing any testing because he doesn't have any boat speed at all. I bet, yeah, he hasn't seen over 125 miles an hour since he's been out there. So
he's just trolling.
I suspect he just wanted to be out there and be alone, collect his thoughts for a while.
It's a mental thing with him, I think. I don't think he's got any kind of problems whatsoever. He's just plain running the buoys, thinking about what he has to do out here, thinking about the kind of a day that it was, and trying to shake all that so that he can concentrate on the business at hand, which is running for all the marbles in the Texaco Cup. He's got the inside lane, and that certainly is the advantageous position, but he also has right next to him a boat that has been able to go as fast as he with less trouble than this boat has. So on the inside, Miss Budweiser with Chip Hanauer is in the catbird seat as far as that goes. Chip will be running that Miss Budweiser, looking for 100 wins for Bernie Little this very afternoon in these next few minutes. The Miss Budweiser has the advantage lane-wise and point-wise in this Texaco Cup. Right outside of him, Mark Tate, the Iceman. And Mark is looking for a first victory for Smokin' Joe's owner, Steve Woomer. And if he can pull it off, it'll be the first time that this Rainier Valley guy has ever won with a race boat in his own hometown in a dozen years of trying. This is your defending champion, and he can make it happen again. Dave Vilwalk driving Freddie Leland's Pico American Dream, and he certainly has the bullet in it to make it happen. The question is, will he have the lane position to take advantage of the rest? That's the questionable part. Here's a guy who can fool you any day of the week. Never deal to him. Nate Brown. Wait a minute, we got a problem here. The Picos has not come out yet.
They're taking the engine cover off right now.
We've got some problems. Bill, what's happening down there?
Well, they just took the cowling up. They're looking inside here, and they're trying to fire the engine up. So far, that hasn't happened. Making a little noise right now, and Dave Vilwalk, kind of an anxious moment here for the defending champion.
Very anxious moment. This does not look good. We're in the yellow flag. Nate Brown and Bill Worcester's boat for its second race of 1995, the former Tide, the Pizza Time X-Side, has a shot at this one. The question is, do they have the depth of equipment to run the first couple of laps at the speed it's going to take to outlast the rest, while the rest deal with each other? And by that I mean Chip Hanauer and Mark Tate. And here's a guy who has a shot too, albeit outside. Mark Evans in Fred Leland's other boat, the KISW Miss Rock. His total point 750 points today, but this guy has been driving better and better each race, and he certainly could do it. He's a dark horse, though. On the outside, I don't think this is going to be the T-plus day. This has been a rough time for Stephen David. But then he's been in that position once before, and he was able to win. So it's possible that despite the fact that he's had a mediocre first part of the day, the final could be good for him. And the boat on the outside is the trailer, DeWalt Tools. Mike Hansen will have to start a rooster tail back, so he isn't going to have a real good shot at this. Well, it looks like the Pico has come out now. Anxious moments for the crew, but the red, white, and blue is out there. The defending champion will answer the starter's gun, or in this case, the starter's flag.
There's got to be a little extra adrenaline now running for Dave Vilwalk. Sitting down there, that anxious moment, whether you're going or not.
Appeared as if they had some electrical connection under the cowling there that wasn't connected by the crew as they made that engine change, put the big motor in for the last heat here. Looked like Dave hit the button and he turned around, put his hands in the air like nothing's happening, guys. They jumped on board there, got the cowling off a few minutes later, gave David the clear sign, and that time it worked.
Well, they scrambled, and the scramble paid off, because now the white flag is up, and if it had been just another 30 seconds, he wouldn't have had a prayer. The defending champion is in the field now and is ready to try, and it's going to be a difficult try to defend the championship. Won here last year. Everybody thought it was a fluke, but he went to San Diego a few weeks later, did it all over again. It was no fluke. This boat has come of age. Pico American Dream is a boat racer. Let there be no mistake about that.
Even though he is a little bit on the outside there, starting in lane 3, this boat has the uncanny ability to get through the slop and come from behind to pick people off, and David's shown that ability all year.
Well, John Walters, we got a good angle on the boats right now. They're coming around the corner in a nice line, and let's see if they give them the green flag and get this over with. They're coming to the line now, and the flag goes up. Here goes the final heat of the Seafair Texaco Cup 1995.
When they get down here, Mike, it looks like the Pico's out in front. He's got about a 2-boat length lead over the Smokin' Joe and the Budweiser, but they've got the inside lane.
Pico has definitely got the advantage, and boy, is it tight through that corner. Oh,
baby.
Looks like the Budweiser's coming off the exit pin first on the inside there. I can't tell, there's so much water in the air. Looks like he's got about a 3 or 4 boat length lead, and it looks like he's stretching it out on the Smokin' Joe's. He's falling back into the thin water of the Rooster Tail.
It does indeed. The Smokin' Joey is there, and the Pico is just to the outside, but I'm not so sure the Pico held his lane through that corner. I got a feeling
It looked awfully tight. He squeezed over on him real hard. It looks like they've opened up now. Smokin' Joe's moving back up inside there. Rough water back there. Big bounces. Smokin' Joe went
sideways. Smokin' Joe just went sideways. She's out of it. Smokin' Joe just went sideways and she's out of it. Dave Vilwalk is chasing the Miss Budweiser, and I'm not so sure that Dave Vilwalk is legal. But down the corner.
Well, the Budweiser's flying high. Chip's having a hard time keeping the boat on the water here. He's got to
is restarting the boat, getting back in the race, but he's got a long way to go.
And the snake is still on his back on Lake Washington, no question about it. The Miss Budweiser out of corner number 1 for the second time. This is a 5-lapper, by the way, this final heat. They got to go around 5, not 3 times. Chip Hanauer in the Budweiser, down the back chute. Water is rough. The Pico American Dream is on the outside. He's virtually hidden in his rooster tail, trying to catch him. Seems to have some boat speed to go along with it, and a boat ride that's pretty doggone decent, as you had observed, John Walters, and he is really, really chasing him through the corner right now. The Budweiser off the corner is getting a pretty decent boat ride itself. And Chip Hanauer comes down off the corner now and comes down to the start-finish line with about a 350, 400-foot lead over the Pico American Dream. The Pico flying and lifting off just a little bit, but the Budweiser's boat ride looks as good as we've seen it any time in the last few weeks.
Yeah, it really does. He skips off the top of some of these lumps and bumps down here, but it looks like he's pretty much in control as aerodynamically when it leaves the water, he can fly it right back down. He appears to be able to accelerate off the corner much faster than Dave Vilwalk, and then the propeller just hooks up better and he accelerates on down the back straightaway towards you, Mike.
That's absolutely it, and the Budweiser's getting away from Dave Vilwalk and is getting ever closer, even though it's flying just a little bit, ever closer to Bernie Little's unprecedented 100th victory as an unlimited hydroplane owner. Nobody's ever done that. It's not likely anybody ever will. He's so far out ahead of everyone else. And the Budweiser comes off the upper corner now. Chip Hanauer wisely going wide, trying to keep the softest water he can get underneath the sponsons, and there's no soft water out there to be had even in the wide lanes. But the Budweiser's still running out front. The big red boat doing very, very well. And now the Pico has expired.
Went down.
Pico has expired, and he's going to be passed by Nate Brown in the pizza time. Nate Brown running second place. Third place, it's the KISW Miss Rock. And in fourth place, coming out of the corner right now, it is the T+. But the leader, and way out there now, commanding lead for the Miss Budweiser. And now all that Chip Hanauer has to worry about is the gremlins in the engine compartment. If something goes wrong, now is the only thing that could take the Budweiser out of delivering to Bernie Little number 100.
It's pretty obvious when Chip came by here. As soon as the Pico went dead, Lauren must have got on the radio and let him know, because you could hear the engine decelerate, and Chip really backed off as he just kind of coasted through the number 1 turn.
Absolutely. He can nurse this boat home now. There's no reason to really pound it. He's going to have to go somewhat fast, however, because the slop otherwise will pound him, and he can't risk getting the boat beat up. But the Miss Budweiser has slowed down. Chip is not now really throttling this race boat. In the meantime, in the race for second place, Mark Evans is making a go at the pizza time, and it looks as though he may still try to get a race out of this situation. He's starting to draw in on Nate Brown. The Budweiser out of the lower corner is on the white flag lap now. One more to go for Chip Hanauer. He's got about 3/4 of a course to do it, and he will deliver race number 100, second place now, and it's a good race going into the lower corner. This is really your battle out here on the race course in the Texaco Cup. On the outside in the Rooster Tail, trying to catch that white boat is the red and black and yellow KISW Miss Rock, and Mark Evans is driving his heart out. He's trying to catch the pizza time, and it looks like he might just do it. Here comes the checkered flag out for the Miss Budweiser. Number 100's finally in the bag for Bernie Little, and Chip Hanauer wins the Texaco Cup. Bernie's got number 100. And the battle for second place is not over yet. Around the corner, pizza time, Exide batteries. Doesn't look like there's going to be enough real estate for Mark Evans to catch him, and even though he goes flying wildly, Nate Brown will pick up another second place victory. 2 in a row, back-to-back for Tri-Cities and Seattle, second place for this very fine racing program. Third place goes to the Miss Rock, fourth place to the T+, and fifth place overall after having gone sideways in the upper turn. The camel-powered Smokin' Joe's, and the monkey's not off the back of the Womer program. He still hasn't won on Lake Washington. Down to the start-finish line, the DeWalt Tools ran as the trailer, finishes 5th overall. Pico dead in the water, the defending champion vanquished here. No problem. He did have his strobe light on, indicating he was okay. So there's no problem there. He just plain had some problem occur mechanically, and that just did him in. Well, your winner is cruising now as he was before the heat started, off the upper corner. This may not make up for the kind of day he had, even, because I don't think Chip Hanauer's a happy camper, win notwithstanding. He'll take it, and I'm sure he's happy about that part, but he's not happy about the way his day unfolded. This was a hard day at Poker Flat for Chip Hanauer, and he still wants the jawbone about this one, I'm sure.
I think we're going to see a very emotional winner get out of that boat. He's been at the top and the bottom today, and this you couldn't ask for a better way to finish it up for him.
I'll tell you one thing, guys. We may have gotten just about as much luck as there was to be had today, because the weather broke ever so slightly for that final, and it's already closing in again as the wind picks up and the rain picks up a little bit as well. None of that weather, however, is going to bother Chip Hanauer as he pulls into his finger pier here on the shores of Lake Washington, a winner again in his hometown. And unfortunately for Dave Villwock, the defending champion, he does not have a chance to show the hometown fans the best that the Pico American has to offer as he goes dead in the water. But the Budweiser team has a lot to cheer about today.
They sure do, and despite the fact that the inversion rule is not something that they favor, the fact is that the best boat will win, and it has to sometimes drive through traffic, even go back out and do it again. But they managed to be the best boat today, and they managed to win, and that's the usual outcome when the excellence gets rewarded, and it seems to me that that's just exactly what happened here.
I think that once Chip gets the opportunity to get away from the heat of the day here and the pressure of the race, he'll see that call was made in the overall safety of the sport and his guys.
All right, Ron Callan. Let's join Ron Callan now. He's with Steve Woomer.
Well, here we go again, Steve. The final race, and you were up on top of your tower. You saw what happened. Talk about what happened out there.
Well, I didn't see the official stuff. I mean, it looked as though Mark lost his lane in that other corner up there, and when you get one of those rooster tails, you're wet down. There ain't much you can do about it. Seattle continues for us, so. We just can't get any luck at all here. So
here we go again. But obviously, you're such a competitor. This means that you come back next year and try her again.
Oh yeah, I'm not giving up. I'll go after him.
All right, we want to talk to Mark. He's coming in a minute. We'll get back to you in a couple of minutes. Tough luck again for Steve Woomer, everybody.
Well, indeed it was, Ron. And in fact, it's been such a tough day that Mark Tate's been having trouble getting the boat into the dock here. It kind of slowed down on him at one point, and I thought he was going to have to be towed in, but he's got her up and going again. Mark Tate cannot be happy, and of course, again, with all the controversy we've had today, it would only be fitting that we finish the day finding out if someone perhaps cut off Mark Tate and splashed him down. We'll see about that in a moment. Meantime,
we just had flares fired off the tower, and the red flares, that's a little unusual when a race is over. We're going to check the Picos out there, which is the only boat still out on the water that we're going to take a look at. We actually have two boats that are out there.
Meantime, Chip Hanauer is trying to get out of his boat, and he's been congratulated. There he is. There's Bernie. 100 career wins, and if Chip was a little mad when he went out today or a little angry earlier, he's a happy camper right now.
Yeah, he sure is. 100 wins, there it is. Had to happen sooner or later. It happened later, actually. They've been waiting for several races for this. Joe Gaffney getting congratulations. Bernie and Chip chatting about it. Particularly sweet for Bernie Little. The final heat of the Texaco Cup was brought to you by Texaco. Clean System 3 gasolines. Add more life to your car. Take it to the star. Photo time there. Lauren Sawyer, who measured water earlier, now measures Victory 100.
We've seen it so many times, guys. We always talk about it that, well, it's deck-to-deck racing and teams are stronger than ever, but somehow when you have the best finance team and the best driver in the business, it's tough sometimes to keep that guy out of the winner's circle. Meantime, down at the other side of the pits, Ron Callan is with what has to be a very unhappy Mark Tate.
Talk to Mark. There was quite a bit of damage actually to the backside of his boat. Mark, maybe you can see. I know you saw it for the first time. Talk a little bit about what happened out there. Obviously, you're disappointed on the end result here. What happened when I guess you turned sideways or whatever?
Well, we lost going down the back chute. Dave Villwock kind of kept coming over, and when we got to the corner, as soon as he turned between Chips of Whitewater and David's, I had nowhere to go, and I kind of got the boat up sideways on David's skid fin water.
Right, I guess it's just one of those things. You keep coming to Seattle, you keep getting so close to everything, and then the final has been just tough on you guys.
Yeah, today's weren't ideal racing conditions, and we can't blame it on that. We just they got beat going into the first turn, and we got beat coming out of the first turn, and they were pulling us down the back chute. And Dave came over, and I don't know if he had a legal amount of room in there or not, but that's racing.
All right, thanks. So let's head over to Tony Ventrella.
All right, guys, we're here with Chip Hanauer. I'll tell you something, man. I don't know what you could equate this to, but this has been some tough day, and it turned out okay.
It was a really miserable, tough day, and we had some bad breaks, and we ran a race that was 6 miles further than everybody else and still won, and I'm just so happy. And I have this guy here to thank. It's my father, and when other fathers were going golfing and doing other things, going fishing, he used to take me out to Lake Sammamish and with a boat that he built and gave me my start when I was 10 years old. And if it wasn't for my dad here, I wouldn't be here.
It's got to feel great.
It is. It's wonderful. He's happy, it makes me happy.
Sad earlier today, though.
He has a lot of rights to be sad.
All right, great job out there, Chip. Just a quick note on the final heat itself. A couple of guys broke a little bit. Hey, that stuff happens. What about your own run? Was it tough? That must have been rough in the neck.
It was really rough, horribly rough, and the cockpit was fogging, so I couldn't see much. And I'm just lucky they gave me the best boat. Friday night we left here, and this thing really wasn't very good.
Yeah.
And today, I think there's no question it was the best boat here, and it's because the work that these guys do. I'm indebted to them, and all my success is just a reflection of their work, and they're smart. So I'm a lucky guy.
Little vacation now?
Little vacation, 6 weeks, and work on my cabin up on the peninsula and pound some nails, and I'm looking forward to it.
All right, good to see you smiling. Chip Hanauer, the winner. Hey, number 100 for Bernie. It's great that he made the 100 before he actually turned 100. I think that's good for him.
Me or Bernie?
No, Bernie.
Oh, Bernie. Yeah, now he's got a long ways to go, so he'll probably have 200 wins when he's 100.
I think you're right. All right, Chip Hanauer, way to go. Always the diplomat. Thank you. We'll get Bernie sometime. Where is he? There he is, right here. Let's bring Bernie in here. Bernie, you did it, for crying out loud. I was just joking before, and I said you got that 100th win well before your 100th birthday. And that's
yeah, that is real good news. I saw you over in Steve Woomer's bus, and I seen you with the hair dryers, and
that wasn't me. That was one of our other guys.
You did a great job today, and I'm serious about that. And you guys out here in the cold and hanging in here with us, we really appreciate it. And Budweiser brand and what have you, to have 100 victories in anything is awesome.
Earlier today, things were not going so well.
No, they weren't.
But did you guys have a conversation before this final? I know that you came out to see Chip, and he was already gone, cruising the lake.
Yeah, I had a few things differently I wanted to say to him. We talked in the bus earlier, and we discussed what lane he was going to take, and we talked about what we needed to do. And I don't know, I think the crew, someone gave him the wrong countdown, and he went out early. But it worked out fine, and I think it's working good, and everything looks good.
All right, you got a big cake over there. Go have a piece of that cake.
I have. Yeah. Ain't no cake. I'll have a Budweiser.
All right, Bernie, there you go. Let's send it back upstairs, you guys.
Tony, thank you. Let's check in with Bill Rocky now, also down in the pits. Bill.
Here with a very, very happy Mark Evans. Chip, just too much today. You get a third place. Crazy day.
Oh, it's been a really crazy day. We started getting fogging up a little bit in the canopy, actually, so it was a little tough to see. But to come from way outside and tracking down like that, hey, the way the rocket boat's been running, very consistent. We're happy as heck with third place, that's for sure.
Great race for second and third there.
Nate he was right there in my sights. I kept trying, and I always like to dive inside, but I knew I better just stay out there and work on him. It was getting close, but didn't have enough of him. But hey, what the heck, is the way the day's been going. Like I say, we're very happy with third place right now.
Great. Mark Evans in the Miss Rock gets third place, and he's a real happy guy.
Bill Rocky, thanks. Here are the unofficial results of Texaco Cup 1995. Miss Budweiser on top, finishing first. The Pizza Time X-Side with Nate Brown at the controls second. KISW Miss Rock third. T-Plus Engine Treatment fourth. Smokin' Joe's finally finished fifth. DeWalt Tool sixth, and the Pico American Dream, as we told you, did not finish getting the tow back to the dock. We're going to take a commercial break, come back, and wrap it up for Seafair 1995. Stay with us. Well, now it's time for folks to start pulling off the log boom. Here you go. You see the big boats leaving. The small boats are doing the same. Of course, a lot of the fans along the shoreline here at Lake Washington left a long time ago, but they missed one heck of a final heat. The Texaco Championship race won by the Miss Budweiser, and Chip Hanauer giving Bernie Little his 100th career victory.
Again, the unofficial results, Bud winning, Pizza Time, X-Side, second, KSW, Miss Rock third, T-Plus fourth. Smokin' Joe's down there, they just cannot get the monkey off their back with Smokin' Joe's, at least here in Seattle. DeWalt Tools and Pico American Dream, and Dave Vilwalk's boat just now being towed into the Finger Pier here. Let's take a look at the boat standings now, the national high points. Smokin' Joe's still leading, but Miss Budweiser closed the gap a bit. 10,935 for Miss Bud. Smokin' Joe's at 11,000 and change. Pico American Dream at 8,900, and then the T Plus. So down on the stage, we're all set for the presentation of the award to Chip Hanauer, the winner of the Texaco Cup.
We are proud to present the Fastest Lap Award to Chip Hanauer, driver of the Miss Bud. Let's give him a nice round of applause.
Where'd she go? I want to thank Pepsi for being involved. And there used to be a boat called the Miss Pepsi, and I think it's about time there was another one called the Miss Pepsi. What do you guys think? But until then, we accept this, and thank you for being here. Thanks, guys.
We need a kiss.
All right, that's the Fastest Lap Award now that was just presented to the Budweiser. In the meantime, we're going to continue to get the rest of the Bud team up there to receive the award for this year's Texaco Cup Championship. Chip Hanauer getting the congratulations of the fans all around and family, as we saw his father out there. Again, an emotional day for Chip, not only because of the anxiety that he went through earlier in the day, but because he got Bernie his 100th victory, and his dad was here, the man he credits with getting him involved in the sport of hydroplane racing. So a nice thoughts there by Chip Hanauer today. We're going to take one final commercial break for you. We're going to come back, wrap things up here, talk to our pit reporters, as well as go to the start-finish line and put a tag, put an exclamation point on Texaco Cup 95. We'll be right back. Those fans that stuck it out to the end are wrapping up their plastic blankets and going home. Meantime, we've got a presentation to the award winner for the 1995 Texaco Cup.
It was a great race under trying circumstances. I'd like to congratulate all the boats and all the drivers. Third place goes to Miss Rock, driver Mark Evans, owner Fred Leland.
Thank you very much. All right. Cheers. Hey, all right, man. Woo. All right. Hey, I want to thank Gus and my KSW Rock buddies over here for pushing for us and sponsoring the boat all these years, man. Thanks, you guys. I'm happy to be able to bump up a few spots for the old Rock boat, come from the old days. We're going to come back next year and try for first place. Thanks again. Woo! Come on!
Second place in this year's Texaco Cup at Seafair goes to Pizza Time Exide, driver Nate Brown and owner Bill Worster.
Whoa! Hey, this is great. 2 seconds in a row, what can I say? But Chip, one of these days I'm going to get you. One of these days. My hat's off to Budweiser. A lot of people said some things about those guys this week, but I knew they were going to be right there. I knew all along they're going to be fast come the end of the day. So my hat's off to Budweiser. I want to thank Pizza Time and Nextside for doing this. And most of all, I want to thank my family for putting up with me in boat racing. This guy here, I hardly ever get to see him. And my wife down here was everything to me. So thanks a lot, you guys.
Well, we see now how people get to the Hall of Fame. This is just a great win. It's just a great honor for Texaco to be here at the Texaco Cup at Seafair to present the 100th victory for Mr. Bernie Little. We've got a couple of Hall of Famers here, and it's easy to see why. So with that, I'd like to present the 1995 Texaco Cup at Seafair to Miss Budweiser, Chip Hanauer, owner Bernie Little. Congratulations.
All right, Bernie!
I just want to thank the guys that built this boat. We left here Friday night, and everybody was kind of laughing at us, and I think people were counting their win before it came. And our guys went back to the shop and worked their butts off all night long, came back and gave me a great boat the next day. And I'm so blessed to be with people that are so talented and that I care so much about, and that's really what makes it fun. And this day belongs to Bernie. You know, he's not under 100 wins, but he's shown what sticking to something does, being committed. He saved the sport, I think, a number of times, and he saved my life when he came up with a closed canopy. And there's a lot of drivers here that owe you their lives, Bernie, for spending the money and the research to do that. And thanks, Bernie.
I need a Texaco hat. My God. Well, I'd like to just take a couple minutes of your time because it's taking me 33 years to win these 100 victories. When I look around and out at the crowds here, I see a lot of people that was here and that's helped share many of those victories, and specifically some of my drivers and their families, and they're down here in the rain and everything, and when the wives sit at home and the guys are all working in the shop till midnight or later, I mean, without those kind of families and people behind us, we'd never been able to do it. But anyhow, the Miss Budweiser has won its 100th victory, and that's history, and I want to know where in the hell 101 is. Now, Chip will tell you that we want to bask in this one for a while, and by gosh, I do too, Chip. Thank you all very much, all the volunteers, and we really, really appreciate your support. And if I was ever going to get out of boat racing, I'd ride the Seattle Parade, and I'd never get out of boat racing. Thank you.
That was Bernie Little on the award presentation stand here along the shores of Lake Washington. We kept talking about Bernie winning his 100th. Chip Hanauer picks up his 57th career win, and he closes in on Bill Muncie's 62 wins, the all-time winningest driver in the history of unlimited hydroplane racing. So the party continues here at Stan Sayers Pits, and a wet party it is for a lot of folks. But everybody's glad that we finally wrap this thing up, and we will be wrapping up in just a couple of minutes. Some final thoughts right after this.
One of the guys from the Budweiser crew, they're all pretty happy. In fact, they're delirious at this stage. One of the guys just came by and said to me they've decided to run the final again, and I've been elected to tell Chip. So this ought to be. It's been a crazy day, and I'm glad to see that it was a relatively safe race. Nobody got hurt today, and Chip did a great job out there, and it's always fun when that happens. Bill Rocky, you were over with Dave Vilwalk. Not the kind of day he wanted.
No, not at all. I'm sure he's a little disappointed he couldn't win it again, but I think it's a credit to all these drivers. Under these conditions, nothing really happened. It was a safe race, and that's what it's all about.
Tough enough driving home with the windshield wipers on. This is crazy out here. You were over with Mark Tate. Not the best day he's had either.
Well, you love to see a local guy win like Chip, but Steve Woomer's a local guy, and he's been so close so many times. It's a little frustrating for him especially, and it's kind of tough to see a guy be a bridesmaid once again and have to come back and try again next year. But a great day of racing for those guys, even though these were crazy cold conditions. I'll tell you, it's wet down here, folks.
You're not kidding. Ron Callan, Bill Rocky, I'm Tony Ventrella. Back up to you. Got a special little deal coming up here. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, we do, Tony. Thanks a lot. Yeah, and congratulations. You guys did a great job in the pits. Meantime, let's check in now with Chip Hanauer. He's actually doing a couple of interviews right now, but again, he had a phone call. He was going to be called, and kind of a little sponsor deal here, and we were going to try to get a piece of this action if we could. But Chip seems to be a little bit busy right now, and, well, he should be. He just won the Texaco Cup at Seafair. Congratulations to Chip. Again, as we said, his 57th career victory. All right. Well, let's go for one final time back out to the start-finish line. Our two wet friends out there, Mike Fitzsimmons, Rick Corella, guys.
Well, it started off to be an interesting day. There's been an emotional roller coaster, to say the least, with the Ken Muscatel story getting back, Ken Dryden, all of the ups and downs of this boat race, the controversies, but yet a tremendous boat race.
Yeah, it was a good boat race, and there's some good news and some bad news for Smokin' Joe's. The bad news, the monkey's still on their back. They haven't won on Lake Washington. The good news is they're 156 points up on the Budweiser as they leave here to go to San Diego, and there won't be such a bad traffic jam leaving the pits tonight.
All right, Rick. Michael, thank you. Great job, as always, in calling the races here. Once again, Chip Hanauer continues to be bombarded by the press, and so we will allow him to go ahead and finish up his time here in the pits as he will. Meantime, John Walters, a final thought from you.
Well, I'm just glad that it was a safe race. You know, it's always fun to come here and be part of this. I like to feel like you know, Chip Hanauer's right now closing in on, you know, getting close to Bill Muncie's legacy and you know, his 62 career wins. It's really exciting to me to know that I was part of both of those. I'd like to take just a second to say hello to Jeffrey and baby Britt and all the guys at Kiro. Thanks for letting me be part of it once again.
We wouldn't let you do anything else on Hydro Plains Sunday. John, thank you.
Thanks a lot.
And thanks to all of you for being with us. The guys in the pits did a great job, all of our announcers around, and the technical crew at Kiro TV, the best. You guys were terrific under terrible conditions today. Again, appreciate all of you joining us. From all of us here along the shores of Lake Washington, glad we could bring you Texaco Cup 1995. We will see you next year.